So we're going to get going here. Thanks everyone for coming. It's Jaimie Peters, one of the nurses at the Lung Association, and my role is to provide support to home oxygen testers, training for home oxygen testers, and also do rural nighttime oxygen testing. So I have Rimmi Dhaliwal here from Medtronic, who's going to be supporting this presentation with his knowledge on the PM10N oximeter. And I think Rimmi's in Saskatchewan actually right now, but he's from Winnipeg generally, and we'll give you some contact information about the oximeter near the end. So there's been, some trials and issues going on with the PM10N across the province, getting the software working, knowing what data needs to be provided to SAIL. And so we're going to go over that right now. Again, just another note, if you want to speak, you'll have to raise your hand and we can unmute you, or you can type us a question below. So we're going to talk about the PM10N oximeter features today, how to use the PM10N, and how to download and provide appropriate SAIL reports with this software. And then we'll talk about some of the contact information. So the PM10N oximeter is at a discount rate because of the SAHO Ministry of Health contract. It costs about $400. It doesn't have a printout like the old N20s or N65, so it doesn't have a printer right on board. So you have to have a computer to access this. Some of the problems that have come around that I've heard from some of the home care offices is that the computers haven't been compatible, and IT's been able to fix it after some time. But I think Rimmi is around and available if need be to help you out with that, and also we could maybe support each other in how we can get everything working properly. So there's also an option for the protective case for this oximeter, and I think it's an extra $50. And to note, just a brief note, and then I'll get Rimmi to talk about the oximeter itself, but the PM10N is within 2% accurate when you're comparing your SpO2 and your SaO2. So I'm just going to unmute Rimmi so he can maybe go a little bit further into this. And you should be good, Rimmi, if you're there.
Yeah. Hi, guys. So I'll introduce myself. So my name is Rimmi, and I'm an RT by background. So I've practiced for close to 10 years, critical care, chronic care, home care, you name it, research. I've done it all, but education's always kind of been my forte. So the PM10N, I do want to quickly touch on that and the importance of choosing the right oximeter. So we are actually the most accurate oximeter on the market, which and we've submitted our claims to Canada Health to validate it, so therefore it's reproducible. So one of the frustrations that I've heard is, oh, well, I'll just try to use a different pulse oximeter. Well, sure, you can. And to be honest, on the normal healthy patients, so what I'm speaking when your SpO2 is greater than 95, you could potentially use any oximeter because at that point, it's all going to tell you relatively the same thing. Although a lot of the pulse oximeters have not been validated in patients with a low perfusion state. So for example, the septic patients, or even some of those geriatric patients, or more importantly, motion. So we're actually the only oximeter to date that complies with the ISO standard to ensure you're still getting an accurate reading during motion. So I highly advise anybody when looking out elsewhere. So there's a reason that the PM10 was chosen, and it's through this clinical validity to ensure you're getting the most accurate results at all times. And yeah, aside from that, one thing I do want to touch on is it does store up to 80 hours of patient data. So it'll never run short per patient, especially on 6-minute walk tests or overnight oximetries as well. But more importantly, I would highly recommend that each time you do a new test, just clear the memory from the previous test. And Jaimie will quickly go over that because in the PowerPoint as well. Does anybody have any questions at this point? And if not, Jaimie, I can pass the floor over to you, unless if you have any questions as well.
Great. No, I think that's great for now. I think there'll be questions that come up throughout the presentation, so we'll refer to you if I need to, if that's okay.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, so if you're having trouble downloading the software or any issues, you can speak to your local IT staff on how to do this. If you're struggling with the software to work, you can call Rimmi here at this number. I'll also give it to you at the end, so don't rush to write it down. Plus, I emailed the presentation out to you. And then I can also try and help get through any sort of issues that's coming along. So there's two options to use the PM10N. You can do continuous check, and you can do a spot check. The spot check's not pre-programmable, or programmable, I guess. So you have to manually do the spot check, and it's not that difficult. So we'll show you how to do that. So here's a little demonstration. It's going to show you what it looks like, how to turn it on, some of the features, and the continuous testing and spot check testing. So I'm just going to show you my face. Hi. All right. So this is what the PM10N looks like. I have to keep up with the computer or slow down to make sure you can see this. So there you go. Now I'm going to turn this on. You just hold the button down. And let's see if I can get it to look nice for you guys. There you go. It's got a nice computer screen on there. There's some different options. There's your menu. You can see that you can save the spot reading here. Oh, someone's crashing. They got an 80 here. I'll put it on my finger. You can set alarm limits, and there's a lot of other settings. You can look back at your monitoring history. You can transfer data over, okay? So it's pretty simple to use. You can turn off the alarm if it's bothering you, and that check marks your enter button there. Okay. So we're going to show I'm going to walk through how to do the spot checks, and then I'll show it to you live. So thanks, Rimmi, for prepping this part of the presentation. So the first thing you're going to do is obviously turn on the oximeter, and you're going to place the oximeter on the patient or yourself to practice. You're going to press the menu button, which is the one in the red circle below. And then you're going to press Save Spot Reading. You're going to be on Save Spot Reading. At that time, you're going to press the check mark button. That's going to save your spot reading. You can see up in the top little corner of this, it's got the time in hours, minutes, and seconds. So you can monitor that. We recommend doing every 10 to 15 seconds or so of data, 10 to 20 seconds, and monitoring that, okay? You know, for the SAIL guidelines, you need to show at least 2 minutes of continuous desaturation of 87% or less to qualify. And SAIL really accepts every 15 to 30 second intervals for spot reading. So I would stick to the 10 to 20 seconds for 2 minutes straight and just keep track with that little clock at the top, okay? So once you've hit enter, you'll see that spot reading is saved. And then you're gonna repeat that over and over again until you have as much time as you need, okay? The reason we're gonna do the spot checking is when we are submitting SAIL information, this provides the most amount of data in the lowest amount of paper use. If we submit the continuous testing results, you're gonna have second-by-second results, and it really takes up a lot of pages and a lot of printing. So to view the spot check reading on the PM10N, you're going to go back to the menu. You're going to locate the tab that says Monitoring History and press check mark, okay, the middle button. And it's going to look like this. So this is your spot check data. You can see the time that it was taken, the date, what the SpO2 was, and what the pulse is. You can also see the current SpO2 and pulse at the top. After that, you should delete this data. I will show you after what it looks like when you don't delete it. But the steps to do that again are to press the menu button, plus clear monitoring, under monitoring history, clear the monitoring history, and check mark, and all of it will disappear. It's pretty self-explanatory when you have the monitor in front of you. All right, I'm going to switch to video again here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to stand up, maybe this will be easier. There we go. All right. Whoa, I'm like so stressed out. Look at me. Oh, thank goodness, my pulse is going down. Okay, so we're gonna show how to do the spot check. You're gonna press the menu button, which is this button here. We're gonna go down, or we're gonna be on spot check when it comes on. Sorry, I'm trying to get the, Yes, maybe. So that first line actually says spot data, okay? I'm gonna press the check mark button, and it says spot reading saved, okay? Okay, so now I'm gonna do it again. I'm watching my clock at the top, waiting that 15 seconds or so. I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna go to spot checks and save it again, okay? I'm going to do that a couple times so I can show you some of the data. So it's kind of a pain, I guess, when you're out in the community and you have to spot check frequently, but it is going to give you better data once you go back to your office and take the information onto your computer. Okay. Geez, who would have thought giving a presentation stresses you out so much and increases your pulse rate? At least my O2 stats are good, hey? All right, so that's about how you do the spot reading. And we'll quiet that. And now, is there any questions about spot reading right now? If you want to put up your hand, or I have some questions, or I have some comments from Leland in Regina, I believe. And maybe Rimmi, I'm going to get you to answer this one. I'll unmute Leland and Rimmi. And so the comment is that, are there plans to have USB 3.0 compatibility? I had a ton of trouble installing the program, and what worked for him was buying a USB 2.0 hub.
So yes, that is in the works. And unfortunately, as we know in healthcare, nothing happens overnight. But yes, I hadn't heard something in regards to that. And another option actually is when it comes to downloading the data, there's actually two different softwares that you can actually use. So there's the free software that you're already currently using, the Nellcor Analytical. It's a fantastic tool, but an alternative option is actually Profox. So Profox, unfortunately, is a paid program, although usually it's region-wide because it's compatible with multiple different sources of technology, such as capnography, could be overnight sleep studies for different pulse oximeter, compatible with a lot of different monitors and different companies as well. So that's another option if you may want to look at. But as for within the next couple of weeks, I don't foresee there's going to be any drastic change, but I have overheard that they may be looking into changing the USB port to more of a 3.0. Hope that answers your question.
Well, it's just, I think the communication then, because as more of us purchase these, is that it was a lot of trouble, and we were getting to the point that we have to replace my computer. And when I phoned to Quebec for support, and they sent me to the States to their support center, and they were very little help. So if we had some of this information up front, it would have been a lot easier.
You know what? So I do apologize for that. Just the one thing you have to keep in mind, and that's why. So Medtronic is literally the size of a city. We have over 85,000 employees, but that's why I recommend if you ever have any issues, it's best you try not calling customer service and going that route because you may have some prolonged wait periods. If you ever have any issues regarding any of this, even if it's technical, I highly recommend you reach directly out to me, and I can probably get your questions answered immediately and more effectively and efficiently than you having to call a 1-800 number and perhaps wait on the line for a period of time before getting some answers.
Hey, thanks, Rimmi. Just put up your hand if you have any other questions, and we'll pass those on, okay? All right, so I'm going to go on here, and we're going to get to the transfer of data from the PM10N to the computer. Excuse me. So first of all, we need to make sure the portable pulse oximeter is attached to the computer with the proper micro USB cable. And then we're going to press the menu button on the main screen. At that point, you're going to be on the main menu, and we're going to locate the Transfer Data tab and click on the check mark. So at this time, we're going to check if we want to download the spot data or if we're going to download the continuous data. You have a choice of which one. If you've had that pulse oximeter on someone for 2 minutes, you can get both the spot data that you manually entered and you can get the continuous data. At that point, you click on which one you want. You transfer the data by USB if that's what you're using. I found that was the easiest. At this point, you might have to press download first on your computer, the Nellcor computer program, and then press start transfer on your oximeter itself. I've struggled figuring out which one goes first, but I think you press the computer first and then start transfer on the oximeter. Okay, it seems to work in that order. At that point, the data transfer should have occurred. You're going to select which session you would like to download. If you have multiple sessions on there, that's why Rimmi says to delete in between, it keeps it easier to keep track. And then you're going to press use the selected session. Okay. After that, you're going to enter all the patient and tester information. At this point, you may include your designation and tester number there because there's not an option for that, or we can add it into the results. Then we'll save the patient information. To report it, instead of using the report or the chart file, we want to actually download the Excel file. I guess I made a mistake on that first line, but SAIL really only wants you to see the criteria for qualifying. They only want to see the criteria for qualifying the patient. So what we can prove to them. You don't necessarily have to show that you sat them for 10 minutes, and you can chart that you did that. They just want to see where they've desaturated for the 2 minutes if you're doing a continuous test, and then they want to see how they've improved over 5 minutes or whatever it is that you need to do in the end. So like I said, the continuous data is very long. You only need to print, if you're going to do it that way, you only need to print the relevant data to shorten it up. And using the spot data is much shorter. So this is how you download the report. Okay, if you have your oximeter in front of you or your program, you might be able to want to practice this right now, but otherwise you have it in the handout. If you don't have the handout, let me know and I can email it to you. And oh, I see you have a question. Just 1 second. Rhonda has a question here. Hi, Rhonda. Do you have a question right now?
Yes. So when we purchased the oximeter, were we supposed to get a cord to be able to hook into the computer with it?
I don't know. Let me ask Rimmi here.
Hey, Rhonda. So as for the cord, no, you're not supposed to be getting a cord. It's a generic cord that you can use. So basically what I typically recommend is honestly go to your Walmart, go to your source, Best Buy, get any cord. since it's a universal cord, that's why we actually didn't provide one. And yeah, so I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you. Are you good, Rhonda?
Yeah, it's just, so we have that blue protective case already on ours when we received it.
Okay.
And so we only see the port where you actually have the probe connected. Do I need to take off the protective case to be able to plug it into the computer?
You're both unmuted now. I'm not getting any feedback. So you want to answer that, Rimmi?
Nope, actually there should be a little toggle on the top where you kind of move it from side to side. And one should actually be for your micro USB cable, and one should be an input for your current cable, so for your SpO2 monitoring cable.
There we go.
You shouldn't have to, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good, no problem. All right, I'm gonna go on here. All right, so to download the report, obviously the software should be open because you've downloaded the information. What you're going to do is to go to the top line. There's only a few options there. So we're going to click on Tools. At the top of the page, we'll click Export, then to Files, and then to Excel file. You're going to save that file to the computer. So pick where you want to save it and where your safe storage is for your health region. And then you'll know where to find it after. We probably should save all these in one spot so you can go back and get them. So when you download the file, you're going to see that this Excel file has three, what we'll call page tabs at the bottom. Excuse me, so there's three different tabs. You'll see a case summary tab, the data tab, and the event summary. We don't need to worry about this event summary. We don't need to submit that to SAIL. So let's just think about the two first ones, okay? We want to look at both of these and make sure the data is correct, okay? You're going to get the facility name, address, physician's name that prescribed the test. You're going to put in your PHN or HSN, your patient name, date of birth, patient age, what date that this took place, how long it was, and any case notes that you might have entered in on that patient information page. This page doesn't have your name or tester number on it, so I would suggest you would do this here, and I'll show you that in the coming up slide here. So, oh, I just said it on this slide. So here it is on here. You want to make sure you add your tester name, your tester number, and then when you print it off, sign it, okay? Then SAIL will accept this as appropriate results. So SAIL only needs the first three columns in this second page tab under data. So what I do is I just delete everything after pulse rate and give them the date, time, the SpO2, and the pulse amp. You'll see here, because we downloaded the spot data, that there's only a few there. It goes from 1504 to 1507. Obviously, this person only wouldn't qualify because they're above their rates, or their SpO2 is high, so they're not going to qualify. But you're going to make sure that looks accurate to what you've seen when you were doing your test. Okay, so you just need those three columns. So then we're going to also chart electronically, just as we do in on our information pages we send off to SAIL. So you can see that this person was low. They were 82 to start off with. We did all the charting that we lied them down on room air for 10 minutes prior to the test. And you can see the charting of where the oxygen was applied and la-di-da. We want to sell it to SAIL to make sure that they qualify. And then we're going to print these pages, sign it, and submit it to the physician or whatever process you use in your line of work, okay? So I am going to attempt to transfer some data with this Nellcor program. So I am turning on my Oximeter. Now, how am I going to do this so you can see it? Let's see here. I need them kind of to see both. So, okay, so I'm going to click the menu button. I'm going to go down to transfer data and press enter. I want to get spot data, so I'm going to press enter there. And then I want to do it by USB, which I've got clicked, and now I'm going to open the Nellcor program. So you press tools, import data. Then this part, your IT people are going to have to set up, okay? Because I don't know how to do that. Rimmi might know how to do that. Then I'm going to press the button on my Oximeter. I'm going to press download. I'm going to start the transfer on my Oximeter at the same time, and then the data is downloaded. Okay, so you see there's three different sessions here. I don't want the first two. I just want the one from today. So I've got the button on there, clicked. I'm going to say use selected session, and then I'm going to enter in my information. So, whoops. Peters, Jaimie, I'm born in, oh, I need to write a valid date. So, I'm born in 2018, so I'm 0. And I can write any case notes here. So, patient was short of breath and struggling to be off O2, whatever you might want to write there. Jaimie Peters performed the test and downloaded the test on her zero-year-old self. And it was Dr. Roberts. Oops. And, I guess the Lung Association. Dr. Roberts and our address. So I'm going to save the patient information. And this is going to pop up. So this is the data that you'll see right away. This data is not what you're going to send to SAIL, okay? SAIL can't read these, they can't see them. So we're going to go to Export under Tools at the top, go to Files, go to Excel file, and click right on that, okay? We're going to save it to my desktop just because it's easy, and it's Jaimie test. Save it. It's successfully created, thankfully. Here we go. I'm going to go to my desktop. Okay, perfect. So here, this is what it looks like. Again, I'm going to enter my information here, the tester name, tester number, and tester signature. And then I'm going to enter that information in, print it, and then put it with my SAIL order form, okay? So there's other things you can download. You can export images. We're not going to do that. Only do 2 Excel files, okay? That's what we need to do. Okay, so this is an example of what continuous data looks like. It's acceptable. It's really long. You still only need the first 3 columns, so you could delete the rest. And then you can print any of the relevant pages, as I stated earlier. This is the sample of the chart or graph to SAIL that's not sufficient and do not need to be sent in. You can see on this measurement summary, which is one of the reports, it's quite nice if it was set up properly for SAIL's data. But you can see our data is 87% or less, and that's in the SPO2 and that second line there. We need sorry, we need 87% or less, and that's not there. It's 88, 89, and only gives us a percentage in that range. Now, I believe that's being worked on by Medtronic, so hopefully it's probably not a priority at the moment, but it's hopefully getting worked on soon so we can even use this data. But at the moment, we have to do it the way I showed you. Is there any questions? All right, so if no one has any questions, here's all our information for contacting us. If you have questions about testing and rural nocturnal results or rural nocturnal testing, please contact me. I can also try and help you with the PM10N or any other issues you're having. I'm sort of the go-to person for anything really. But if you need to ask about the funding status of a patient and their oxygen, you need to call SAIL. I can't answer any of those questions. I wish I could, but I can't. And then if you have questions about the PM10N software or any troubles, or you want to buy one or get more, Rimmi would be your go-to person. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. Send me an email. I'm here usually Monday to Thursday, but I check my email frequently, so I'm here to help you. Thank you.